myself and you guys, and we'll get this up and that up. And hello, SHL, Rich and Luke, episode 130. Say hello, Luke.
It's been a second.
Yeah. And we got a guest. This is our charity drive guest appearance by Kez, or I guess Muerto, if you prefer. I
Let's
don't
go
know.
with Kez.
Kez.
Go with
Kez
Kez.
is-
That's how I
Yeah.
know you. But then I went to look for Kez in the user list, or the members list, and I was like, that's not it. I had to think
No,
back.
it's
Like,
it's
oh, yeah.
it's a dumb story behind that actually. Like, why am I Kez and why am I Muerto? But yeah, Kez on everything Discord and Muerto on everything SHL.
Okay. Yeah, I know you as
separated
Kez.
it. Yeah, I always knew you as Kez.
Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, I was Kez when I started, but
I want to run
Change
through
it.
your credentials really quick. As best. I actually purposely did not mention. I mentioned players when we're getting set up, but I purposely ignored GM stuff because I wanted to see if I knew it off the top. So let's start with players.
oh,
really quick.
there's going to be some secret hidden GM stuff that you don't know about.
I'm sure. I know I'll miss. I imagine there's but I want to see how much I can get.
Well, obviously, Kez Jim didn't get on my hockey league or whatever.
Did he?
Gommel.
Did you?
I have no idea.
I was on Gommel, yeah.
Did you GM though?
Probably not.
I did. I was the original Edmonton GM on Gommel.
Oh shit! See, there's levels for this, Rich. I do my research.
Man, that very brief period was actually so fun, and I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know, it was so different, but like it was enjoyable for what it was.
It was.
Anyway, so we got 5 players, which we learned. I thought it was probably 4, even though I could only remember 3. But we got in order. We've got Rico Muerto, which remind me your first season. What draft class was your first player?
Joined the league in S14.
Okay.
And so drafted in S15.
Did you get recruited to?
I
SHL?
did
Where'd you
actually.
find
Okay,
it?
so shout out to Spidey, if you guys all know the Web Dynasty there.
Of
I
course.
actually worked with him very briefly, and we were both hockey fans, and he recruited me to the site, and
Oh.
like I joined up and then promptly went on vacation. I'm like, what? And so I was like 2 weeks behind my very first player because I had no clue what was going on, and it took me like half a season to figure out how to do a point task and an update and all that sort of stuff. But kind of
Yeah.
once I got the momentum, kind of dived right in, and it was pretty fun.
I feel like that's not like that's not an atypical SHL experience of like starting off not really knowing what's going on, missing a bunch of stuff, and then picking it up. That's
Well,
Not
and
that
again, this was the forum-based days,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
it was a little bit harder to
very
get.
good.
so it was a lot more difficult to update
And
earning
there was
half
Chatsy.
TPEs and stuff. Right?
This might have been
There
that
was
might have been
Chatsy as
pre-Chatsy
well.
too, even that early on.
Oh, it could have been.
Okay, so we got Rico Muerto, forward. I'm quite sure.
Yep.
I feel like I one of the memories I have of Rico Muerto is in my like starting off in SHL Fantasy. He was like a sneaky pick for a few seasons because I believe he actually did throw hits. Is that right?
Yeah, would get 20 goals a year and got lots of hits, and
You can
kind of
look on the
power forward player.
index.
I'm not gonna look on the index, Luke. Come on.
Why not? It's all there.
It's better to remember things even
No,
if you're wrong.
But
all right?
again, this was when 25 goals was like, wow, you're a
Yeah,
pure
yeah.
scorer,
25
right?
goals was crazy.
Yeah. Being a point per game was like you were super good. Back then. Okay, so then next
Yeah,
we had.
You had 5 straight
He
seasons.
was not a
of-
Hall of Fame player, no.
No.
But had one good playoff run with Hamilton where he got nominated for a Razov, and then
Yeah.
was IHF more of a superstar than anything. He was Norway's first superstar.
Yeah, no, you had 5 straight 20-plus goal seasons, though. That being said, 4 of them were in the 52 game played era, so, kind of
Wow.
fraud alert.
Really?
But you did
Yeah.
have, 100-plus hits for a couple of those seasons overlapping, so I can see where Rich would see you being a sneaky pick. And then in the playoffs as well, season 24, 18 games played, 22 points, 11 goals in that 18 games played. And in SCHS, That's crazy. That's cuckoo.
Back then, getting a forward who threw hits in like your 5th or 6th round was like it was free TPE. Like if you can get somebody who's going to get you a nice chunk of points without having to worry about scoring, it was free. That's how I made all my TPE in SDHS Fantasy. Getting a late round forward that hits easy. Okay, so next was Wyatt Walker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the big one.
Yeah. That was the defenseman who was very, very good. That was like S30s mostly. I feel like was his like best, or is it?
So S26 draftee. So
Mhm.
yeah, so hitting his stride in the S30s, and then was one of the I'd say there was the golden age of defensemen then, but those were the days where it's like, hey, I had a better season than Alonso Garbanzo just once, right? So
Yeah, and it was also during the double
but
shifting era
I
as
would say
well.
was right in that conversation of the best defenseman of the decade for sure. If you don't count Alonso Garbanzo.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart from him, I was the best for sure. Oh, and of course, apart from Bubba Nuck, and of course, apart from Big Manny.
Bubba Nuck gets forgotten.
apart from all those other guys, I was really good.
Oh no, Flacco's a 4. Never mind.
Yeah. LPF.
Yeah, I was thinking of Scoop, but that was later.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Garbanzo, of course.
Yeah, but Wyatt made the 75 and 75, so
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I forget where or when.
Yeah.
Well, way down low,
probably, yeah.
but still there.
Part of the
Still a good mention, top 75 of all time.
Yeah.
Lundberg was on that too.
Somehow.
Lundberg was 68. Walker was 64.
There you go.
Excuse me. All right. So the next, this is the one that I had forgotten about. I think, or yeah, right. This is the one I forgot, which was Goku Muerto, right?
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah.
So, just real quick, is Gaia is your sister? Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and
Look, in real life sister. Yeah.
Yeah. I think did she create a character named Vegeta about the same time?
Yes. Same draft.
No, okay,
or is that somebody else?
I am positive that was a king multi, that he was
you're
super
right.
weird and was creating characters. And I'm positive that was a king multiplayer that he brought in. But I was like, I'm washing my hands of this. This has nothing to do with me, right? Like,
Wait, that was a season.
I did not authorize this. This is not an authorized player with the Muerto username.
Oh, that was his brother, quote unquote.
Quote unquote, right?
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I forgot about that.
But supposedly it was King's cousin who was joining the site or whatever, right? And like Goku, and so wanted to be Vegeta. And when it was all over, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was King actually. So
I'm having a memory now of you actually talking about this in another form, maybe on another podcast or something, because all this is very familiar.
Yeah, possibly.
All right.
But Goku's claim to fame is that he was drafted in the same season as Luke's first player. So
yeah. 5th overall.
I was there when Luke came to the site.
Yeah, that was my first season in the league.
I loved that draft for San Francisco at the time because it was like exactly what you want in a draft, because you got the two new guys who are also like very well, very connected, but also you always run that risk of both of them, King especially, which ended up happening, is you get that burnout of the guy who's like too hot and then they just don't stick around. And then you get the veteran in Kez, and it was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what you want in a draft where you're rebuilding. And then of course none of it worked out.
But also in the later rounds, Jeff Brogan, Sean Stevenson Jr. was pretty good. Vince Reaper, long time player. Richard Metcalf, I think, did something. Jack Kennedy was sneaky good player. He was on Vancouver with me. I think he reached like 1,400 TPE. You also had Peter Vrana, which I don't think his player worked out, but that's Leo Bond.
Okay.
So we drafted a lot of good players, but it just didn't work out how I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I went chasing the free agent money with that player because San Fran.
I mean, he got 20 mil.
So I was like, goodbye. 20 mil. Cha-ching.
Then following that, you had the one that I absolutely did not remember at all. But now that once you mentioned it, it came back a little bit. Grogu Mando-san.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember position or anything on that player.
Forward.
So
he won like 4.
Grogu was drafted by Calgary,
Okay, I do remember
and
that. Yep.
actually was a really really strong player for Calgary. Actually had the record for most points in a season for Calgary for a while, until somebody broke it, I'm sure. But still has some top 10 seasons there, and that was through the Izzy time. So probably my player was overshadowed by all the drama that was going on in Calgary at the time. But won 4 Dars in a row. That was Grogu's claim to fame. He's the best,
okay. Now that you
best
say that,
defensive forward in the league.
Yep, I do remember that.
Like I created him to be Connor McDavid if Connor McDavid played defense, like defensively, not defenseman, but like had any defensive awareness. So was just a takeaway god and a power play specialist, and was pretty good. Then went to Montreal for a couple of years, had a couple good seasons there. Went to Winnipeg to chase a cup, couldn't get it, but we made it to the finals a couple times, I think. So yeah, didn't have any real playoff success, but had some really good seasons as a player.
Nice. And then that brings us to the current player.
Yeah.
I say AT-AT. I don't know if that's.
I say AT-AT.
See, that bugs me. It bugs me. This is not the conversation to be had here. Sorry, my nerd bullshit. Sorry. So.
And honestly, I swear to God, I'm not actually that huge a Star Wars nerd.
I'm not either, really.
It just so happened that
it's more of a language.
I wanted
thing
to have a player with a Walker last name, because Wyatt Walker was, of course, a Game of Thrones reference, right?
Yeah.
And then so it's like, well, I need another Walker, and Skywalker had already been taken, so I went with AT-AT Walker instead.
Okay, so and then.
But yeah, I'm not actually that huge a Star Wars nerd, even though like I'm Mandalorian gifts and everything. It's just a thing. I go with whatever my current obsession, with TV watching is.
So I want to try to go through your GMing to the best of my ability, anyway, because like I said, I'm sure I'm gonna miss stuff, but I was trying to remember off the top exactly what it was, and I think I have at least the head GM SHL. I think I have those. And as far as I know, you've only GM'd, at least again as the head GM, one team in the J. Is that right?
One team per what?
One team in the J, and then I've got 3 teams in the SHL that you've been head GM of, at least. I don't know about co or any other kind of any other positions.
No, you're absolutely right about that. One junior, 3 SHL.
Yep. I know the Kelowna one. That's like
I was also actually one of the original founders of Team Norway in IHF, and so I've had a few stints of GMing Norway when nobody else wanted to do it. And my very first GM job was of Team World back in the old international days, which was kind of a joke.
Yeah, so
that was my first GM.
I kind of remembered Norway. I didn't remember it, but when I I was in our GMs earlier, leading up to this, I had spoken to you just about Norway stuff, and I was like, oh, he was probably a GM there too. I didn't remember that, but
I think 3 different stints as the GM of Norway. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know Kelowna was easy that was free for me because that was my very first J team, and my first GM was JRT, who I believe was immediately following you.
That's right. He was actually, I believe, my co-GM, and then I had moved on into head office after a couple of seasons, and so he took over Kelowna. Yeah. But I still love Kelowna because it was my first ever team, right?
Yeah. So then, SHL, I have let's see. Oh shoot, I'm missing one.
Got Manhattan.
Manhattan. That was one. Calgary, Winnipeg, and Manhattan. I believe are the 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the 3. Yeah.
Okay. Any other, I guess, credentials or anything else that should be mentioned to kind of intro who you are to the league?
I would say my stint as SMJHL commissioner was pretty good.
Okay.
I remember seeing threads about that.
That was late S20s. So kind of the transition from the old way things were to, those massive Reddit drafts that we had through those eras, and kind of transitioning into a little bit of I'd say a new personality of the SHL, where it wasn't so toxic and internety, you know.
For sure.
Like, tried to make it a little more welcoming and less, abusive to people, which it was pretty much a hate-filled slogfest for sure. But I thought I had a pretty good run as the junior commissioner and helped stabilize that and helped it prepare for the coming age.
Okay, so were you around? Okay, so we expanded in, was it 26 that the J expanded?
Yeah.
That's 26.
No,
So
I want to say it was like 24, and then there was talk of contracting it because the league was going through a real dead
that's
spell for a while.
actually what I was going to ask, because the contraction, the very brief contraction talk, I guess I don't really know how long it lasted, but I know it was there, and I was curious if you had overlap with that, because we had I want to say it
Yeah,
was the
no, I
S27.
I was there. I didn't want contraction, so we had to come up with creative ways to make sure that teams could have enough players on them.
It was rough.
And so that's where a lot of rules opened up about, allowing inactive players on your team and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I think it was the S27 SHL draft, which would have been
That sounds
26.
about right. Yeah.
Yeah, when
It
it
was
was
either
like
26 or 27.
we had like a round and a half of players, and it was, oh god, it was so bad.
Yeah. When like a few seasons prior, I was GM of Kelowna when we had our very first Reddit draft.
Season
And like
20.
something like 150 people had signed up in 3 days, and you're trying to contact them all. I swear I spent more time on GMing than I did on my actual real life job at that time, right? Like it was so many people, and but it was awesome because it also helped fill the rosters with active players and stuff like that. So that was definitely an exciting time, to go from, instead of having 3 rounds to draft through, you literally had, I think, 15 rounds that year.
Yeah, and it brought a lot of quality players as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, the J was going through a bit of a unstable time there, and so that would be why its player was obviously 20 S25 in the SMJHL, and it was like clearly they needed something, so I kind of took over that role to help stabilize the juniors at that time and help it move forward for sure.
Still fiddling. Sorry, I was
Yeah,
trying to figure out my chat issue.
and it's
Anyway, sorry about that.
oh, you're good. And yeah, it's crazy to see where the league, I guess in your eyes, where it went and where it's going right now, especially
Oh yeah,
as it was going throughout the years.
I'm the boomer of the league now, where it's like I remember the good old days, and it's like no, they weren't that good, Grandpa. It's
Yeah.
okay. So like obviously like the league has caught up to the technology, although I do miss the forums days sometimes, where you had to refresh your play by plays and all that sort of stuff was was uh was kind of crazy when you look back on it.
Yeah, or like
But yeah,
some of the Thunderdomes as well, where like you're just refreshing to see what the new takes are.
oh yeah, right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
F5,
no, I
F5,
kind
F5,
of,
F5.
you know, as you know, I kind of came in right at the tail end. Like it was right when we got the new forum. So I joined with the new forum. So I was never on JSync. So it was kind of like uh, the old way of doing things before we started to transition into kind of what the SHL is now. And like Downer said, that's the new suspension/punishment threads, or where everyone likes to hang out and talk shit now because we don't have the Thunderdome.
yeah, and I find some of the things unfortunate, like the drafts honestly don't seem as exciting to me anymore. um,
Yeah,
because the
the
forum was
threads
like you
are
kept refreshing to see who the next pick was, who's the next pick, who's the next pick, right?
yeah.
And that was kind of cool. And like I said, the old play-by-plays where one person would be revealing like a block of text at a time, and you had no clue what was going on.
Yeah, especially at the end where it's like, oh, and he shoots, and then you wait 2 minutes. Oh, and then the goalie shaves.
Yeah.
You're like, ah, damn. How, how dare they?
Right, but it was fun, right? Like it was unique, it was creative.
It was
I
very
had a good
unique,
time with it
but
for sure.
we definitely
And
would
like
not
I'm
have
I'm not a
grown. Yeah,
like I'm not a developer or anything. I don't know much of, like, if you ask me, I could write some HTML maybe, right? And I still remember how to code in BASIC, but I don't know anything about modern coding. So all that stuff is a bit lost on me now. I would have no clue how to build a portal or,
yeah.
you create a YouTube streaming channel for the Sims and stuff like that. Like that's best left, in my opinion, to somebody who knows what they're doing. So I stay out of that.
Yeah, thank God we got Downer. But also, it's kind of like, on one hand, the nostalgia factor and everything like that is nice, but like we probably wouldn't have grown to the level that we have now if, we stuck with, you know, play by plays and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, no, for real. I do think most of the changes have been super positive for the growth of the league and the everything that goes along with that. So um,
Yeah. But it's
yeah,
always the, seeing it with the rose tinted glasses. Like even in, for me, I'm like, oh, I remember when you could, everything was on the forum. You had to do your training in threads and the bank
yeah,
was
you
tracked
you had to do your
manually.
your updates by linking all the different forum posts to everything you had.
Yeah.
Done, right? And then, oh man, regression was a nightmare. Yeah, 'cause you
Yeah,
had to,
regression was always a nightmare. And you're like, all right, GM, just do it for me because you don't want to
yeah,
deal with that shit.
or I retire, right? Because I
Yeah,
don't want to do
yeah.
this. I'm just going to retire. It's much more fun to earn TPE than it is to lose TPE. So
Yeah.
I'll just have a 10-season career. Thanks, I'm done. Um, but yeah, it's overall everything has trended in a positive direction for the league. But yeah, there are times when I have the nostalgia for, fuck, remember when we were on Chatsy and that was so fucking cool because like, we could actually do it, and it has a dice roll function. Look at that, that's so cool. Yeah.
But
And
now we can just open cards.
now we can just sit there and open cards and go from there. Yeah.
Rich, did you figure out
Yes, I
your
can't
chat
recover it
issue?
without like essentially ending the stream and closing
Ah,
OBS. And, yeah, it's because of that issue where I had to re-enter my stream key.
damn technology.
Yeah, yeah. So no chat. I'll have to watch the chat overlay and try to watch that. And so it's not. I mean, I guess I could open this stream, but I'm not going to do that because that's work.
That's so much work.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I did see one thing from Chris talking about the standings. So let's just pull that up so it's here.
All right.
Just so we have it. I don't know.
Shit, what are we talking about?
I actually have
I
nothing
thought
to
you
talk
wanted
about
to
at the
talk to
moment.
me about if anybody ever changes the Winnipeg Aurora logo, they'll have to answer to me to that.
from the Aurora.
Yeah, I was the GM when we swapped from
Switch.
the
Oh, were
Jets to the
you?
Aurora.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
I actually didn't know that. I
I,
didn't
I
know
would
who
say
it was.
that's my claim to fame of my Winnipeg time
Yeah,
was
no,
apart from
it's
anything
great.
else was changing that branding, and that was fun. That was COVID time, so that occupied me through COVID.
Yeah, peak COVID was crazy for the league.
Do you guys want to talk about let's see. Kaz, currently your player. What team are you on? I actually don't even know.
Seattle.
Seattle. Oh, okay.
With the
Oh, you guys are
Seattle
doing real
Argonauts.
well then.
Yeah. Well, the team's doing real well.
Yeah. Oh, it's your your player.
Don't ask me how my player is.
Yeah.
My only claim to fame with this player is I currently lead in fights won in
There
the
you go.
league.
There you go.
With how
I
many?
know, right? With 2.
Whoa.
I wish they'd change it.
I mean, that's actually a lot given they're in the current state of the
It's
league.
a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many
But yeah,
seasons in are you? Not too many.
77. So I guess 7 seasons now,
Yeah.
6 seasons now.
So yeah, you got what? Another 2 seasons for regression, or are you season after next?
Yeah, two. I don't regress next season, but the season
Season
after that
okay.
will be my first regression. But hopefully, I'll hit the 2K.
You
That
should
was
hit
my goal.
that.
I'm at 18 right now, so I should.
Yeah.
If not this one, then the first regression season, I should hit it. Yeah.
Let's see. And Luke, how's New England doing?
New England's doing great. I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm not following any other team, but I swear there was like there was like 9 games where we outshot them by 10 goals and then we just lost. So we should be higher in the standings, but that could just also be me coping. But we're doing pretty good. You know,
Yeah.
we got 40 wins, so I can't complain. And, you know, we're doing great. It's just that sometimes if you look at our goalies, you know, 0.884 and 0.882 save percentage isn't the best. But, you
that's
know, what can you
average,
do
man.
there?
Yeah, I feel like that's not
That's
actually that
average
bad.
today.
It is
At the
average
moment.
today. And G2 has a positive GSAA. So it's just like, bro, goalies are on life alert right now. Like, I know Corey said that they lowered the shots per game, but they didn't lower they didn't lower the goals. So
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know, everyone's out here getting crazy goal numbers or crazy shot percentages on less goals
Yeah.
or less shots.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
my player's shooting 21% this season. Yeah, 1100 TPE, something like that. Kind of silly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, it's like it's high, and of course that's just in time for my plan to recreate as a goalie. So perfect.
Yeah, where are you at with your career, Rich? How many points?
I went over 1250 like a day or two ago.
Shit.
And
Nice.
so there's like a 99.99% chance I'm retiring after tomorrow's sim.
Oh,
Not
you got a plan? You got a name?
I got a name. Well, I'm still waffling on the name because I found the name that I wanted is very, very close to an existing player, and that really upset me. So,
What's the name?
I was gonna go with Lucas Lundberg, but there's a Lucas Lindberg in the league right
fuck
now.
it, who cares?
Like, so close.
I thought about making my player name "Boo You Suck" just so like every sim they'd be cheering for me.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. That particular little sound thing. It's
That's
so
so
funny.
funny, actually. That's a great recreate name.
Yeah, so I'll auction that off next charity.
Yeah, true. Rich, you should create Troy McClure 5.
No. I wanna use the Lundberg name again. I want to bring it back. So I'm gonna do that. I just need to figure out a first name.
Are you gonna stick with goalie this time?
Probably. Let's say probably. So the
Probably
thing that's like,
as in after the first season, you're like, all right, fuck this.
the thing that's got me hung up on whether or not why I'm not 100% gonna retire is because I'm at 549 goals. I want that 550. But I don't think I want to play another season for that. That seems dumb. So
what if you get it the next sim now?
I got 3 games to get it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I get that. That's the only thing that could possibly stop me from retiring. But yeah, even that.
Are you gonna let me draft you this time?
Yeah, I'm happy to go anywhere. Although, to be totally honest, I'm hoping I go to like Cincinnati. I think that'd be cool. I want to go to. I do want to go to one of the expansion teams.
You just perma hate me, I guess.
I'll go to New England. It's fine. It's fine.
No. Now that you said no, you know, it's whatever, man.
That's fun. All right. What else we got going on? We got questions? Although I'm not like doing backflips about talking about any of them. If I'm honest. Sorry, question askers. I know that's like.
Bro, you just shit on that. You go, oh, sorry.
I don't really want to talk about the trades that much. There's too many pieces. I'm just like, I get like stun locked looking at all the assets in each of the trades, except for the Cincinnati one. That one's totally fine. But like the Denver and the Nashville one, I just look at them and go, I don't know.
Yeah.
We can talk about the records broken this season, but like like I look at the scoring this season and I kind of just want to close the index. Like I'm like, ugh, gross.
I mean, that's what happens when you have, the best team in the league in the
facing
worst
a
conference.
mountain of shitters. Like,
Yeah. Go to
mean,
conference. How many teams have
honestly,
negative goal differential?
the scoring this year is a combination of like the haves versus the have-nots. There's too many just bad teams, right?
Yeah,
But it's
bro.
also,
Yeah.
it's the logical conclusion of the meta, right? Taking the meta to its absolute extreme. And
I mean, when you got 8 teams with negative goal differentials,
the
like-
West has the West has a team that would miss the playoffs in the East, gonna have home ice advantage, right?
yeah, yeah.
So,
No, you
and
got
the
3
East-
teams.
It's obviously so much more competitive. Like the
Yeah.
standings could totally change tomorrow on the final sim for the last 5 playoff spots. And in the West, it's been a 3-team, season. Like there hasn't been any chance any other team could come close to the top 3 there. And so it's been a little bit less exciting in the West for sure.
Yeah.
If anything, it's probably like Calgary's like, fuck, we don't want to make the playoffs because we don't want to lose our lottery pick, right? But they can't even be bad enough to miss the playoffs because there's so many other bad teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you have the best team facing off against a lot of shitty teams, and they're also really fucking good. They're like the season 70s Winnipeg, but they face against the worst division or with the worst conference, and then they beat obviously fairly a lot of the Eastern teams as well. As you can see, they only had 9 losses, so it's just a perfect recipe for pure dominance, and they're breaking a lot of they're breaking a lot of records.
See, I personally would ban Edmonton from being allowed to win any awards because it's
don't-
just
The
not
MVP
fair.
will be interesting
I don't know
because
how
And
you
I
deal with
have to
like
vote in their first round.
you have to. I don't know. I don't know what you do.
when you have 3 players from Edmonton all back to back point leaders, like I think if LAP makes the playoffs, Gogner has a great chance. I think Manhattan's
I think
Kevin
even
has a
without-
great chance.
Even without making the playoffs, there's a strong case simply because like they should have been competing with SFP for like the what do you call it, if people are voting for the standings, the predictions, like it's
Yeah.
LA and SFP are the choices, and LA is really not even close to that anymore, just because of the one
Yeah.
player.
And then Chicago's goalie, I think it's Raph, has a 914 right now.
Oh, hit.
And yeah,
Well,
there's only
I could have a
3.
914 if I only ever played San Fran in Texas and Minnesota, right? Like,
That's also fair. That is also
I'm
fair.
Actually play some tough teams, and then we'll see if they're actually.
That's
any
also
good. But
fair.
They're sheltering that Chicago goalie by giving them only easy games, and their top goalie is getting all the hard teams, right?
Well, they split it 50-50, but that's also very fair. I don't know the split that they're making. But only having 3 goalies above 900 save percentage is also like fucked. It's crazy.
It's pretty fun. Yeah, like I fucking totally have respect for people that will stick out with goalie because it's so hard, right?
Right now, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, oh, it's a 7-6 win, and you have 60 shots total from both teams. Like, bro, it's tough.
Yeah, like a 8-7 game, and both teams had like 25 shots or something. It's like so. I guess goalie is optional, right?
Yeah, goaltending is optional.
Like playing with no equipment or something like that. But yeah, so I don't know if we're throwing out MVP. I'd have to have my biased pick would be the dude from Seattle, Shadow Phoenix, because he's so far ahead of everybody else on the team that
Mhm.
it's clearly he's the best player on the team. Whereas, like you said, Edmonton has 3 players that work together well and stuff. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other candidates, but just to be the biased guy, I would
Of course.
Shadow Phoenix
Manhattan,
as Seattle guy.
Elib Cove Is that another
Yeah,
pretty
that's what I was
solid?
talking about. Yeah.
Or like last year, I would have said Betsy Nickelback, right? Like, clearly the best player on their team and the reason why their team. But for Gagne, I don't know. I'd have to stick with that old rule of like your team has to make the playoffs for you to be the MVP, right? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, but also like
I want
fucking
them to make the playoffs so bad.
72 goals is insane. He went from 24 goals to 72 right now. So he's
so
winning the
but
yeah, he's
but I
winning the
mean, it's
Rashawn for
fantastic.
sure.
Don't get me wrong, I think it's fantastic that the guy that broke the record is playing for a not great team.
Yeah.
Really carried that team, but they've fallen off, and right now they're not in a playoff spot. So in my world, you can't be the MVP if your team doesn't make the playoffs. That's
Yeah,
the
I
old
do think that's pretty fair.
like the NHL argument, right? But that's
I don't care about what line they're on, Hifo. Like, I don't know how you measure value of a player if you've removed them from the team. They're still the best team by far in the league. Like, I don't know how you measure that value.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they
it's gonna be
shouldn't
tricky.
win. Somebody from Edmonton shouldn't win or isn't going to win. I just don't know how you measure that value. Like, what's the value there?
Yeah, I would have to take a look at I would have to take a look at
How do you measure any
the
value? I just told
Winnipeg.
you remove them from the team, and the team is still the best. What? Like, that's literally it. You remove
Opposite.
Gagne from LA, and they're maybe above San Francisco. How do you not agree? You can remove 100 goals from Edmonton, and they're still the best team. Like,
Edmonton is a systems team, right? It's you could.
I mean, it helps when
all their players are built
forwards.
exactly the same. They're I call them the Edmonton Blizzhawks, right? Because they've just figured out how to maximize the FHM strats, right?
I mean, it also helps that the average for their forwards is 1793. So when you have all really good players, like their lowest TPE player is 1500 on
would
forward.
be a top line on any other team, right? So they're like, I don't know. I think Edmonton's less about their players and just more about how they've been built and how their systems work and everything. That it's there. They annoy me, I have to say.
I can't blame you if you're annoyed with them.
Yeah. I don't know, just because you're looking, hey, we're doing really well. Oh, except Edmonton has 120 more goals than us.
Yeah.
How do you have 120 more goals than us? Like, what is the secret? But it's just, in my opinion, they've figured out how to maximize the meta, to a ridiculous degree this year.
Yeah, and then combine that with being in the worst conference that we've seen in since, like, I think Tillman said the last time they had like only 3 teams with positive goal differential. Well, let me try to find it.
Well, it's got to be twice, right? But yeah, like a lot of factors are coming into play, right? But so to take any of those teams from the East, we were talking about, like, take Montreal and put them in the West. Do you think that they'd be battling for a playoff spot, or would they be 50 wins?
Well, battling for like whatever seed.
Yeah,
they would be in the playoffs. Or they're still in the playoffs for the East, but
yeah, with the East, but you know what I mean, right? Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah, they'll be top 4
that are there, and they would have 50 wins, in my opinion. So yeah, like I think Atlanta is just as good a team as any of the top 3 in the West. Manhattan's
for sure.
having a super team, right?
Manhattan's been
a strong team.
Manhattan's been great.
Philadelphia would be like second in the West if they were playing in the West, and or fourth, whatever. But would not be looking at, man, we're not even going to get home ice in the playoffs, being 12 games above 500.
Yeah.
And in the West, you've got a team that's 5 games over 500 is going to get home ice.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun for the East.
Team that's 12 games below 500 will make the playoffs, and a team that's 1 game below 500 won't make the playoffs in the East.
East is what if we had two Eastern conferences, like if the West was like the East, then I feel like it would be a much better situation for the league.
Yeah, 100%. The West is like
How we get there, I don't know, but
the
I
West is
feel
a
like
disaster in terms of like if you're looking
if
at the health
we're
of the league, the West is a nightmare.
if we're offering solutions, I feel like reducing the cap that you can retain to 1/3 and then removing one of the hometown discounts would help massively. Because like at some point, it's build plus how many 1600 TPE players you can get.
How about
And so if you can, kneecap that.
coaches get to assign like some kind of a tactic, a strategy, and then it gets randomized amongst all the teams.
That'd be really funny.
I don't know. There was a time where I was like, I want to beat the meta, right? I want to figure out how to beat the meta. And if you can beat the meta, then you can beat anybody. But the reality is the meta is too strong. And so, eventually I joined the dark side and, started using the meta strats as well. And you see the results is obviously good. Right? But I don't know. I would do things like start nerfing Gretzky's office, make it a restricted one person role, right?
Honestly, I
there's-
only use Gretzky's office for one player because it just doesn't work for my team.
It probably would if you did did it properly. But like they've nerfed defense so badly, you can't have two crease clearing defensemen. So how can you defend, 3 Gretzky's office and 3 danglers coming at you every shift, right?
That's
Um,
fair.
So I would say if you're going to nerf defense, then you have to nerf offense, and the way to do that is restrict those overpowered roles, and they're clearly overpowered because players are getting 110,000 points a season now. So that's where I would maybe look at or bring back unit tactics, if not
Oh.
individual tactics. So you could try to.
I feel like
match
then it would be even more skewed in my eyes.
Yeah, same.
It probably would, but spitballing like how can you slow this down type of thing, right? Like, 'cause
Maybe
I
if
don't think
people
you
stopped
can.
being nerds and sweaty little nerds and just played hockey.
Right?
True.
God,
Stop trying to figure out how to beat the game, right?
Yeah.
And just play. Right?
we're not all playing a
But,
video game. We're trying to simulate hockey here. You freaking nerds. Jeez.
yeah, but in the end, it's a video game, right? Video games are just a bunch of equations. So if you can figure out how to skew those equations in your favor, then you'll win. And congratulations, you did. But yeah, great. What about the rest of us that don't have 10,000 hours a day and massive programs to parse all this information out and figure out what the ideal builds and strategies and tactics are, right? But the reason I don't like it is just because there's no variety anymore. Nobody will ever build a team any differently. Nobody will ever.
I mean, that's the main complaint always. Back
Yeah.
to SHS as well. It's once people figure out meta, they don't want to leave it because if they, if they're bad, the players don't want to be there. So might as well just, be with the meta.
That was the strength of
Yeah,
SDHS.
and that's what I said,
it didn't matter as much. It mattered, just like I think fractionally relative to like what it does in FHM. There's like SDHS, like you could be slightly off meta and you'd lose like a percentage. It was very little. But I don't know. Maybe some people disagree with that, but I don't. Oh, unless you didn't put any points in passing. Yeah, that's true. Hey.
Okay, I do kind of agree with Troy McClure that I think players should have some agency. And not everybody knows everything about FHM, right? But you could go with the roles and say, my player is an offensive forward, and then the GM can only play you those 3 offensive forward possibilities, right?
I feel like it will go the same way as
player is a goon, then the GM has to play you as a goon.
I feel like it will go the way of player roles and where everyone will just eventually all switch to the metas.
Well, it's already happening. I think that's already the way it's going. People are being told, don't put anything into any stats other than physicals, because that's all that matters, right? Don't put any stats into anything secondary, only getting open and offensive read, right? Don't worry about trying to be a defensive player because it doesn't matter, right? Just put all your TPE into physicals, make sure everything's 18 or 19, and then the rest of it doesn't matter. Your player will be good.
Yeah, I don't like the physicals meta.
What?
I don't like the physicals meta, where it's just all physicals.
But that's what it is now.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you go, and when people are like, "Oh, what should I put TPE into?" It's all physicals, right?
Oh yeah. The last couple
Raise
seasons I
your
had to
stick checking.
switch.
No, your stick checking doesn't matter. Raise your speed, raise your agility, raise your balance, right? Raise your stamina, and it's just it creates a situation where it's if you took it real life, it's just fill them with athletes, like athletic players. It doesn't matter if they have any skill or not. Just make sure they're big and fast, and and then we'll teach them to play hockey afterwards.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody wants to have a superstar player too, right? So not everybody, there are players who deliberately build a defensive first player or anything like that. But the reality is, if you want a winning team, you need to follow the meta. That's the only path left to anybody, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes.
Yep. That's this always happens. This is not in no small part my fault, but that I tend to complain a lot about the league and things in the league, and I feel like we maybe gone a little bit that direction. So, is there anything else not like complaint related we could talk about?
I mean, but bitching and shit talking is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Listen. How about we talk about how truly great the Winnipeg branding is now as the Aurora? How about
It's
that?
fantastic.
It's so good. It's
It's
honestly
okay.
so. It's legitimately one of the best in the league. Top 5 easy.
Yeah, so if we
I
had a
disagree
story
with that.
You
about
what?
that, like I said, that was COVID time, and like we were so delving deep into that, and obviously, what the Winnipeg Jets was like. People were starting to be like, "You guys suck because you're named after NHL team," and it's like you can only explain so many times. This is, but remember when the real NHL Jets left? And there wasn't one, and so the SHL was the only Winnipeg Jets there was, and then the Thrashers come back as Winnipeg, and now they're the Jets again, and now we look like we copied them, and it's like, but we didn't, and but you know it would have been fun to rename the SHL Jets as the Atlanta Thrashers, but then a hot dog came in and put an Atlanta team in, so that kind of ruined that.
My complaint with the Jets was that I thought the logo was just bad. I thought it was ugly.
I mean,
I didn't
it
care
was
about the Jets.
for sure,
I thought the
but that's because it was maybe good at the time, but as
yeah
time goes on, it's less
the
crisp and less clean and everything,
the
right?
bar has
But
been
so the
raised
logo that the
substantially.
logo that you're showing now is actually changed by Gonzo to put the polar bear constellation in, which was cool. But the original logo that we had, that was Rotspua, made us like a logo that looked like the aurora over a forest. Yeah, there you go, that
Yeah.
one there. Like, I love that logo so much, except maybe the text is a bit wonky, um, but like that's such a beautiful logo. And I was like, oh my god. So I have so much like branding stuff with that logo on it because stimulus check, yeah. I'm gonna spend it all on Redbubble and buy a whole bunch of Winnipeg Aurora shit.
Hey, if anybody's interested, I
Yeah,
have a complaint about
that was
Redbubble as
that
well.
was that was for sure. Yeah.
What's the complaint?
The tote bags kind of suck. That's it.
Oh.
I'm a tote bag fan, and nobody makes good tote bags where you like. I don't know. They just don't exist. I guess I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, Troy, I actually have a couple of the coffee mugs. I still use them. They're pretty sweet.
Hey, kids, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Something that I've not. I don't know if we talked about this. I feel like maybe we did at some point, but I want to know like what. So essentially, like immediately after JRT took over in Kelowna, they won a cup. Am I right about that? Like the
I
season
think
he
they
took
won
over.
3 in a row.
Is that right?
I think they won 3 in a row
No, it
immediately
wasn't. It
after.
wasn't
Yeah.
in a row. It was JRT was the first to win 3 as a JGM. I think it was
Okay.
2,
Green row
and
was
then
Nor.
What's that? Yeah, 3 in a row was like somebody
That
well
was
after.
Nor.
Um, because I know because we hadn't won one in a while, and then Vancouver won, and then I think it was Vancouver. Pretty sure S24.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or
that
20.
sounds about right.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. So I want to know like what percentage of the credit do you take for that those
Oh,
two
100%.
back to backs that he got?
Obviously, 100% goes to me, right? No, not at all. You know, um, I think there was some players on that team that I had drafted, but I was only GM for 2 seasons, and you know, like I said, maybe got the team set up to be a good team, but any credit goes to the guys that took over and they really built a powerhouse team for a few seasons in that S20s time for sure.
Yeah, I was back when like 2 seasons was like a lot in the J as well. It was like 2 seasons was actually probably more standard at that point.
Where you mean? No, I was like only GM for 2 seasons
No,
as
I
well.
mean as a player, like 2 seasons
Yeah,
was
as a
like
player,
the
you
most you would do.
went up after your second season, or it was still feasible to go up after your rookie season as a pure rookie, but you weren't going to be very good. But it was feasible, right? You could join the SHL as a 350 TPE player.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't that bad. If you tried to join the SHL as a 350 TPE player now, you wouldn't have a very fun time.
Yeah. The was you drafted Finn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was pretty sure. I knew he was on like the S19 team. I want to say maybe the S20.
I believe that was, yeah, because that was the S20 Reddit draft, right?
Okay. Oh, he was in the
So
red draft.
S20 SHL, which means S19 juniors. So
Okay.
yeah, I drafted him along with Raymond, along with Chester Cunningham,
Oh,
which
that's
is
right. Yep. I forgot about that.
fuck, I'm blanking on his username. He still plays Chocula,
Oh wait.
right?
Yep.
Was there. Cool was originally drafted to Kelowna. Um, yeah, like we just lucked out and got so many like really fun people, and people who are still to this day like contributing to the league in a lot of ways. So
Yeah. That S20 draft, like I feel like just because of the league's been around for a hot minute. That was 8 9 years ago. No, that's more than 10 years ago at this point.
that's got to be 10
Maybe
years ago
11
now.
probably. Um,
Yeah,
so it kind of gets a little bit forgotten when people talk about. I mean, it does and it doesn't, right? Like the recent drafts are the ones that people think about more. But the S20 was so transformative for the league, and I wasn't even here for it. But like when I came in, it was like being felt pretty substantially because most of those players had been in the league for close to a year at that point. So it was
yeah, that
really
would be.
like
So you joined S25
my original
or
draft
20?
class was S25, and I it was like I just missed the draft for the J, to
Okay,
so I signed it in Kelowna as a undrafted free agent.
okay. I feel like the 25 draft was another big
Yes.
draft season. So you had 20, then you had 25, and then 31 was probably the biggest one.
Yep. 31 was.
That really reshaped, the landscape of the league at that point. Um, and then you had some great ones obviously after that. But those formative years, those first Reddit drafts were Reddit draft meant something, right? Like when you were a GM, you're like, can load up on picks for the Reddit draft, the Reddit draft, the Reddit
Yeah,
draft, right? And because you knew you were going to get so many great people coming and joining, because Reddit was actually a very useful recruiting tool at the time.
yeah, you had
Whereas
picks being like,
now it's recruiting bots, who come in and post about how you can buy really cheap drugs online. So
yeah, back when you used to have conditionals in picks where like, oh, if it is a Reddit draft, like move back if it's not a Reddit draft.
yeah, yeah, no, it was a crazy time, and now of course I don't think there's such a thing as a Reddit draft anymore.
No, because
Um,
how we recruit on Reddit has changed because we can only do it once a year now, and then we can't really advertise it to our people because it would be bombarding. So the numbers aren't there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it had run its course anyway. But
Who's Vorv?
it was the primary reason why the league grew so much in that 20s to 30s era, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's Alex.
I saw Dwight mention
Reddit,
we were talking about the
ruined the
J, which is
SHL. Maybe the SHL ruined Reddit. Maybe that was the problem.
could be.
Because I'd never heard of Reddit until the SHL started. And now I'm the biggest troll on Reddit that ever existed.
Yeah. Do you like when people talk about McDavid leaving?
Yeah, of course. I love McDavid. Don't get me wrong. He's like, I'm obviously an Edmonton boy, and I fucking love Connor McDavid possibly more than I love my own children. It's pretty sad. Yeah. I think the only reason that he might consider leaving is because if him and his wife are thinking of having a family, this would be a tough town to do it because people don't respect their boundaries at all, right? And
Yeah.
so I know they don't talk about it, but I'm also going to say, as kind of agent of chaos, for what they would have to pay McDavid, you could get 3 really good players, and
Get like a
maybe
Marner.
like at what point do you, as an Edmonton fan, stop saying the Oilers owe McDavid a cup and start saying McDavid owes the Oilers a cup? Right?
Once the Oilers get an actual goaltender.
Skinner's not a terrible goaltender. But who are what are they going to do? Are they going to trade Bouchard for Vasilevsky? Like what goalie is there? Are they going to fucking bring Carey Price out of
Could have
his
gotten Markstrom.
drug-induced coma and put him in that?
No, I think they could have gotten Markstrom.
I don't think that was a possibility because, again, you have to remember that nobody wants to play in Edmonton because it's a fucking shitty ass cold city, right?
I mean, he was playing in Calgary,
regardless
so
of whether.
and Vancouver.
Calgary sucks even worse.
No, Markstrom. Markstrom was playing in Calgary and Vancouver, so I don't think he'd minded the cold.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. I honestly think goalies, you hope your goalie goes on a run in the playoffs, right? Like Vegas won with a shit goalie, Colorado won with their backup goalie. I mean, go back in time, Boston won with Tim Thomas deciding he was all of a sudden an elite goaltender when he'd never.
Tim Thomas was a really good goalie, though.
What?
Tim Thomas was a really good goalie, though. He won the Vezina twice. He won the Vezina twice.
Yeah, but not until he was like 30.
He came into he was a full-time goalie at fucking 31. That's his first full season. He just went on a really nice run.
I dispute that he was a good goalie.
I don't know how you can say that. He won 2 Vezinas.
So listen, I would love if the Oilers could bring in a more consistent, dependable goalie, because Stu does have his stretches where he just shits the bed, and that's unfortunate, right? But he's also taken the Oilers to the finals twice. He was a Calder Vezina candidate. He's still under 30 years old. He's
I think having a backup goalie better than Calvin Pickard also would help.
Is there a backup goalie better than Calvin Pickard? Because that guy's fired, maybe. No, but you're not wrong. But I don't know. I just look like other teams are winning the cup without McDavid, right? So we could obviously win the cup without McDavid, and that 16 to 18 million dollars that you're going to pay him, you could have 3 to 4 dependable, good players on your roster, right? Which is what they lack right now. They don't have anybody like third line or lower that you point at and go like, yeah, that's a fucking good player. Whereas Florida, you look at their fourth line, you're like, fuck, I wish I had that fourth line, right? Or their third line is Brad Marchand. It's like, I wish we had Brad Marchand on our third line, but I don't even know who we had last year. Fucking Connor Brown,
yeah, that's fair.
Mattias Janmark is your, shut down PKer. Like, come on, man. So as much as I love McDavid, I do think it's a possibility that he does leave or does just sign a short term and moves.
Flyers will happily take him.
I also would say it's much more likely that he stays in Edmonton for at least a few years.
Flyers will happily take McDavid.
Sure. Give us. I don't know who you got. That rookie from last year. I like him.
That's a free agent, of course.
Oh, you don't want to trade for him. You just want him to walk over there and sign.
Of course. He's
I
like
mean, could you imagine if you're
no better
and
city but
you
Philadelphia.
go to free agency? You would literally have 32 teams just basically saying, "We will pay you the max," right? So for him, it's a choice of where does he want to go to live more so than where does he want to go to play. But I don't know. I think the Oilers have shown you that he alone is not going to win you a cup. So, um, you know, like devil's
Yeah.
advocate, I would be extremely sad if he left. But you know what? I lived through they traded Gretzky away and the Oilers still survived, right? So
They won a cup.
they did. They won a cup after Gretzky left too. So
Now they won a
it's not
cup
the end of the
while they
world.
had Gretzky, but
Yeah, no, that whole situation, that's ancient times. But I was a teenager when the Oilers were the dynasty, right? Um, And so you figured that, yeah, hey, it's the Oilers. They're going to win the cup, and Gretzky's going to get 200 points, and they're going to be awesome. And I get to go to another Stanley Cup parade next year. Hooray, hooray! And then all of a sudden, it's just like Gretzky sold, not even traded, right? He was sold um, because the owner needed money, and it was a pretty sad day. But
I can imagine.
life went on, right? And it would be the same if McDavid left. The Oilers would still exist, and they would still break my heart every year, and nothing would change. So I try not to get too much about it, but yeah, but I do love Connor McDavid. Don't get me wrong. He's
It's a
he's
great
so
player to
good.
watch.
He's so fun to watch. But I don't know. Maybe we could get Kucherov back. Replace those 100 assists. Maybe they'll trade him to Pittsburgh for Crosby.
All timeless.
Hey, Luke.
What's up?
Troy wants to know who the co-GM for Flappy Giraffe was in S44.
The Koji, that was Troy, I'm pretty sure.
He said it's not in the portal. I don't know if that's true or if he's just being Troy.
Oh god, I don't know. He's on my team. He can just fucking DM. He can just PM me. He can just talk to me.
Yeah, Flappy was cool.
Yeah, probably because no one had records of who the co-GM was. So I'm like, I'll just take the current GM and fuck everyone else.
Leafs Forever never had a co-GM. I don't think the whole time.
He did not.
Troy was asking
Yeah,
Kez,
I
not
don't
Luke.
think he ever had one. And I think that who replaced him was that
I'm blanking on his name.
Astro? Was his name Astro?
I forgot now.
But I feel like the next guy didn't have a co-GM either. And then, like, for the first couple of seasons I was in Winnipeg, I didn't have a co-GM, and it wasn't until Chevy was on our team, and he was so awesome that I was kind of like, "Hey, would you be my co-GM?" And he was like, "I've been waiting for you to ask," and so that was a pretty good tandem for sure.
Yeah.
We as a team sucked. I think we did a lot of good things in Winnipeg and just couldn't get the results on the ice. Yeah.
As is tradition. All right, Rich, you
As
brought
is.
up the Winnipeg Jets team history. Who was the GM after Leafs?
Stadium Gambler. Oh, after Leafs.
No, after
After
Leafs.
Stadium was
Oh,
before
Atlas.
me.
Atlas.
Atlas. There you go. All right.
Oh yeah. No, expansion absolutely killed us in Winnipeg because I was not prepared for it, and we lost all our good players that we're kind of banking on. And then, people people wanted to leave and go to the expansion teams and stuff like that. So, kind of cratered us a little bit, and then we couldn't get it back. But I mean, I will say that we had like a super room of great people, like really good people in the room, but we just couldn't make that mash onto on ice success there. And then
That Stadium Gambler era was crazy run of trades. I still remember that.
yeah, some GMs love to trade. What I used to love was the draft because I love trading draft picks. It was my favorite thing in the world. it's like poker, right? You're sitting there and you're like looking through your cards and I'm like, hey, I got 3 first round picks. You got any first round picks? And they're like, go fish. And yeah, the drafts were always the best time of GMing, even though scouting is a chore sometimes. You know, it's just always such a good time to do that. But trading picks is like the best.
Well,
But yeah, no. What other team did I GM?
Calgary,
Manhattan. Yeah, Manhattan
Manhattan.
was a fun time. If you want to talk about, this will be my advice to these GMs who are getting shit on for trades, right? Is the very first 2 trades I made as Manhattan GM, I got absolutely shit on by the league, and we won the cup in 4 seasons. So, people can say what they want. If you have a vision for what you want to build as your team and you have an idea of what type of people you want to bring in and stuff like that, then just try to tune out the haters, because you're always going to get criticism. Everything you do, somebody's going to criticize it. You can't make everybody happy ever. Um, so don't stress too much about what people are saying. And I do know as a GM as well that sometimes you're forced into making a bad trade, right? Like the player's going to leave anyway, so you take what you can get.
I disagree. I feel like you can always push enough where you can get a bit more.
Yeah, but like that's why I hated trading with you, right? Because like some GMs just can't accept a fair exchange of assets, right? Of
Of
equal value.
course.
They always have to try to win the trade, win the trade, win
Yes.
the trade. And like I mean, sometimes you have to also be ruthless as a GM, right? If you spot weakness in another team, you attack and like go get your guy, right? And you see a team going on a fire sale, you maybe don't go after the top guys on the team, but you go after those second line players that won't cost you as much but will improve your team. um, I mean, like honestly, trying to make trades with Rashford and Ace, and they're like now 2 different teams, but they were the hardest guys to make trades with because it's like they're so ruthless, right? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying
What did we
it's a bad
trade?
thing. I'm not saying, but it's just like you really had to like double check what they're saying when they're coming up with these trades, because you're like, okay, what's the catch here? Like, why do I think this is good, but I know it's not good, right?
Yeah. What trades did we make? I totally forget.
You and me, I don't know if we ever made a trade that wasn't a draft pick trade.
Let's see. When I was co-GM in Manhattan, we didn't trade that much because you just traded your player away and we got a second and we didn't really connect after that. And I'm trying to look.
Yeah, no, I like
The Kane Bale trade. Where he just gave me a first.
Am I glad to see Manhattan is second in the East? Yeah. I guess Manhattan's been, I think, on the verge of being a good team for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So to see them get there, but then Atlanta just decides they're going to go on a 16-game winning streak, and put everybody else to bed. But yeah, I thought Manhattan was a team that had unfortunate results for how good of a roster they had. So to see them actually have like a really successful season is good. I mean, I have no ill will to any other team, right? Except for the general, I want to beat them. But um, yeah, yeah, the East is messed up, right? Like I swear, yesterday Philadelphia was in 8th place, and now they're in 5th, and like it's just jumping every single day. So, but
Yeah,
I
well
think
that's
New England are obviously locked in as the top 3 there. And then yeah, in the West, the top 3 are locked in, and everything else is just. Oh, what do I think of Seattle versus Chicago? Okay, so this is funny because we talked about Gaia, my sister, earlier, who is the goaltender of Chicago, and we were drafted in the same year, and yeah, we fucking rag each other every single day, and we knew when we got drafted that Seattle and Chicago were both trending on a rebuild and we were going to be peaking at exactly the same time, and that we were going to be competing, and then Edmonton just comes in the back door and just, yeah, we're just going to trade for all the best players in the league now, and yeah, go fuck yourself. Um, but yeah, no, I obviously have a personal stake in the Seattle versus Chicago, but it's also good to see two teams that kind of really did a rebuilds the right way and committed to it and stuck through the dark times, and now are seeing the rewards of it. But the thing that sucks is that a top three team in the league is going to be done in the second round, because that's how it's going to shape up. So it's unfortunate that we'll never get the chance to play for the cup against each other, but really that's all it is. It's Seattle, Chicago playing for bragging rights right now. See who gets to lose to Edmonton in the finals. But I don't know. I do think either Chicago or Seattle has potential to beat Edmonton, but it would be tough.
Agreed. What
The bottom of the West. I mean, I
Bottom
think
of the West is that bad. Like,
it's
you're
that
literally
bad, but also, Chicago and
seven.
Seattle are good.
What happened?
I mean, Chicago and Seattle are good. Don't get me wrong. 100
they're
points. I don't know. Like, pop them in the East, and we'll see. But they're still very good teams.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
like really, really good teams. That's what I mean. It's unfortunate that one of those teams is not making it past the second round.
Yeah.
And last year they beat us, so this year we want a little vengeance and try to beat them, right? But it's like, I think we still have a chance to finish above them, but we would have to win out and they would have to lose out. So it's pretty fucking unlikely, but still a chance. But home ice is so important, that um, I was mentioning earlier in the Seattle chat, it's like one fucking 3-game losing streak all year, and it's costing us home ice in the playoffs. And that's kind of sad,
Yeah.
But like Denver, like they've done really well for an expansion team. Good for them. New Orleans, I mean, they're good, but are they close to being competitive? Maybe. They're kind of sneaky good in the playoffs. Madison has no business being in the playoffs, but the rest of the league, West, is just so bad that, they kind of defaulted their way in.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, Calgary, both teams kind of in the midst of a retool/rebuild. Texas is the team that disappointed me this year because I bet them on the over because they're always so sneaky good, like better than they should be. And then this year they kind of fell back to earth.
Yeah, actually like playing like the correct level of hockey for their TPE.
They finally are, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
For so many years, they're just like, why are they so freaking good
Kind
when
of
they're
weird.
not really a good team? But I guess that's where kind of coaching struts and stuff can elevate your team a little bit, right? But I mean, I still believe if anybody's ever read my media that I didn't do this year, it's always all about TPE, right? It's all about TPE, and that will determine how you do in the regular season, and then the playoffs is a little bit more about matching up and skill and tactics and line matching and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of the same when it's CHS. Is if you predict based on TPE order, you're going to do fine in your season predictions, your standings. Maybe not perfect, but like it's an okay bet.
Would I rank Atlanta? Yeah, obviously I would rank Atlanta above Chicago and Seattle because they won the cup last year. Atlanta's the current champs, so until they lose, you can't say anything about them. Yeah, well, Chris, buckle up, buddy.
Yeah, I think the whole league is kind of hoping for that.
You're gonna see another, like, don't get me wrong, like our whole entire season, we don't look past anything other than we need to beat Chicago and we need to beat Edmonton, and that's the only thing we need to do. And so, we're gonna put all of our energy into figuring out how to get past those two teams. Like I said, I believe we can. We've had okay results against both teams this year. So I know we can compete against them, and I know we can do it, but yeah, there are some days where I'm just like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're so freaking good. And then there's other days where I'm just like, well, yeah, it's just because they're a good team, you know. But out of the East, I mean, could Manhattan make it? Yeah. New England, yeah. New England always seems to do pretty well. They're pretty strong. Um, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, I think could. Hamilton, Baltimore, I think, hey, you know what? Those guys had really positive growth seasons this year. Maybe not quite at cup competing level yet, but good to see them moving up. And poor Montreal, like I love Montreal. Um, they just seem to be cursed. Can't seem to break that hump, and get up to that next level despite having a really, really good team and a good group of users. And so, and I played for Montreal for a couple of seasons. I thought I had a pretty good time there. So I always like to see those teams do well. But yeah, I just kind of feel bad for Montreal because I feel they don't get the results that they kind of deserve for how they built their team. A shocking win for the first round against Atlanta. Oh man, that would be crazy if Montreal was to beat Atlanta. What is doing
Is that a
tactics in the playoffs?
is that a thing, Dwight?
Who doesn't do tactics in the playoffs?
Montreal sometimes.
Like what? They just
Let it
don't
ride
do them, or
in
they
the
don't?
regular season.
They don't change
Well,
stuff.
I mean, again, that's a huge argument. It's just like theoretically, according to FHM, changing your tactics too often is supposed to actually negatively impact your own team. But I feel like, especially the year Edmonton won the cup, it seemed like them constantly, every sim, changing their tactics was actually destroying the other team and putting like those other teams into like complete chaos. And you were seeing them beat, like, I'm just going to use, they beat Calgary, who was, in my opinion, the favorites for the cup that year, right? And like killed them. By game five, they had just destroyed them. Then they play us, and by game five, they had completely destroyed us to the point where we were losing 9-0 when we never lost that badly all season long, like not once. So what are they doing that's fucking up other teams? Um, is it the constant changing of strategies? Is the one shadow rule so overpowered that it completely destroys the other team? Is it just roll of the dice? I don't know, but like I I struggle with that because my instinct is don't change anything, right? And then, but you see the results is you have to try to counter what the other team is doing. And I especially see with Edmonton and Chicago that they play a defensive system which is meant to counter what all the other best teams are doing. But if you go and try to change what you're doing, then you're kind of crippling yourself by putting that 5-game punishment in or whatever, where everybody doesn't gel perfectly. Um, And maybe you're right. Like six, I hated six so much. Oh my god, FHM six was the worst. It was just so bad. And it's gotten better, but yeah. Like I said, I obviously helped with Lions and FHM in Seattle, um, and like I said, for the longest time was just like I want to beat the meta. I want to figure out the rock paper scissors that will counter what everybody is doing, but I couldn't find that. And so join the meta, and then you just have to hope that your version of the meta, is better than anybody else's version of the meta.
Boy, I don't. I feel so like ill-equipped to talk about like tactics, lines, that kind of thing for FHM. I just don't know. I don't know anything. Don't
Yeah,
really know
I
much
mean
about
that
like
might
real
be
hockey either.
re- re- well. I mean, there are times where you know you can look and be like, okay, like one of the things one of the guys from Seattle mentioned that really made me reconsider things was like you have to consider the flow, right? So it's like if you send your center in as a deep forechecker, then you don't want your center to be your primary back checker. So you have to come up with systems that help maximize, you know, where players are, and having some hockey background probably helps so that you understand what those terms even mean, right? Like what does crash the net even mean? What does Gretzky's office mean? What is a dump and chase tactic? What is what is the role of a shot blocker precisely, and where should they be to maximize their shot blocks, and what system should they be playing to maximize what they do? And is build more important than role, or is role more important than build? And I haven't figured it all out yet. I know there's people that are like way more clever in FHM than I am, and I accept that. But
Yeah.
I actually love the counter-attacking role. I would say, so Grogu, my player when I was in Calgary, I put him as a counter-attacking forward, and he was phenomenal. Like it was such a great role for a defensive-minded forward. So I'm a big fan of the counter-attack forward. I tried to stay away from Gretzky's office and Dangler because I thought that there was a very clear weakness on it, even though it was a very dominant offensive combo. But I felt that unless you were a top TPE team, you were giving up way too many defensive chances against. So I think that Gretzky's office should be nerfed, honestly, in my opinion. Like I said, I think that should be one of the restricted roles. I could even see Dangler being put as a restricted role, and just kind of force a little more diversity in the builds instead of every team being something like two-way forward / counter-attacking forward with a Gretzky's office with a Dangler, or maybe having a power forward in there. But you see that teams that stray from that meta, they don't do as well. So you don't really have an option right now to go away from it, or you'll, in my opinion, sacrifice your own team's production.
Yeah, it's when I do I did the first 3 weeks this season for the SHL side audit, checking the roles, and it's pretty. I mean, I'm sure anybody with like coaching GM, yeah, actually even probably just access the file can see it, but yeah, it's pretty consistent across teams. There's some, yeah, like you said, some slight variation team to team, but like, yeah.
I see the biggest variance in teams is actually how they deploy their defensemen. Just about every team, or at least 80% of the teams, are running pretty much the same general offensive scheme. And then the biggest difference is in the defense and how they're deployed, and what roles are being used. So that is where there is some variance. But I mean, clearly it's a scoring forwards league right now.
I got a question for Dwight if he's able to answer me really quick.
All right, Rich, hold on. I gotta go.
Okay, yeah, we're running pretty late.
But yeah, all right. See you guys.
Yeah, take it easy. Kez, if you're like running out of time at any point, just say something.
I literally have nothing else to do today, so I'll sit here as long as anybody's interested.
So Dwight, if you're able to answer, a few seasons ago, I don't remember exactly when it was. I think I was still doing file work at the time, because that's why it kind of like pinged in my head when I was doing updates. Tampa was like, and it wasn't like by a huge margin, but it was a pretty obvious intent to raise positioning amongst a lot of your players. Was there something behind that? Did you like think that, what am I imagining that, or was there something really there, and were you trying to do something?
Before he says anything, I will say positioning is hugely important for your defensive players. Yes.
I don't know when it was like I think it was across a lot of the players, including forwards even. Like they just seemed a little bit higher than everybody else. Not like, again, not like by a lot or anything, but like they were the only team that was like consistently. Sorry, say it again.
I said positioning is the defensive equivalent of getting open.
Okay.
So the same way that people will say you got to get your getting open up because it's more important than anything else forward wise. The same way for defense, positioning is probably more important than checking, which for the longest time I believed that checking was the most important attribute of any player. And I was like, no matter your role, no matter what, your checking has to be at least 17 and ideally 18. I don't know if that's true anymore. I think positioning might be more important. And defensive rate, of course, is important, but all the rest of it doesn't matter.
I'm largely like kind of
checking, hitting, shot blocking really doesn't matter. As long as you've 12, 13, 14, you're probably fine. Because
I'm
it's more
still
important to
pretty
have speed, agility, balance.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
illiterate on that, like in terms of like really knowing. I know what people are doing, but like I don't really have a in my head like this is why, and I don't have that kind of stuff. I'm not equipped for that. But so yeah, when I saw Tampa with a little bit higher positioning, or like more of their players were 17s, I think, in positioning than anybody else, and so it was like oh, that's weird. But yeah, if you're just trying something, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. No, like I said, back in the day, I told everybody checking. That's
Yeah.
your primary attribute. Like I'd say, if you're unbanking, first thing you do is take your checking to 16. The second thing you do is take your checking to 17, and then after that, you do whatever you want. But I probably wouldn't give that same advice to newcomers coming in now.
Yeah, I don't know
I
how
would
it
just
works,
say, yeah,
but
go speed, go balance, go agility, go stamina. Go strength.
the assumption I
I
always
mean,
made
I'm always
was that
go
like
fighting, go aggression, but
checking was the initiation of either like the stick checking or hitting. Like the checking was like what initiated those actions, and then those particular ones were how effective those actions were. I don't know, like I kind of just
um,
making that up, but that's what in my
I
head what
feel
made
that
sense.
checking was, um, yeah, but both how efficient you were at taking away the puck, but also how efficient you were at holding the puck if somebody was checking you, right?
Hmm.
And then the hitting versus shot blocking versus stick checking was almost that ratio strat, like in Simon T, that if you had a higher hitting, you were more likely to hit, but it didn't
Hmm.
necessarily mean you were good at it. If you had a higher stick checking, you were more likely to try to poke check or stick check, but it didn't necessarily mean you were good at it. What mattered was your positioning and checking to make sure that you were in a position and good enough to actually take the puck away. And then the counter, of course, is that you get a forward with agility and puck handling and hope that they can skate around you, right? So that's where those, whenever those two forwards clash, or the forward and the defenseman, then the primary, you know, factor in the equation that the program used to determine who came out with the puck was checking.
Yeah, this is like it's all very much like I said. I'm not. I have like a pretty casual understanding of hockey, and even though I've spent a lot of hours in FHM, I don't know what's going on. You know.
I mean, and again, it's a computer program and it's prone to glitching, and it's
Well, and I didn't even play it.
prone
All my hours were
to,
spent file working. So.
yeah, fair enough. But like you said, at that point, you are kind of seeing trends in what people are building and what people are doing with their TPE, and what teams are maybe leaning towards being. So again, I've kind of Seattle has changed from being, when we were at the sort of beginning era of our rebuild there, that it was like defense is important, right? You have to play strong defense, and then to the point where now the players are hitting that so-called elite level. Then it's like, okay, take the leashes off, let the dogs run, and go balls out offense now. Um, so yeah, I would say my own perspective has changed on it, and you don't want to be too stubborn and keep doing the same thing over and over again if it's not working. But um, there there's just some things that you have to do, and it's not really a choice if
Yeah.
you want to be competitive.
Yeah. So I actually just realized it's what time it is truly, and I haven't eaten yet, so it's pretty late for me. So I need to go.
Oh yeah, it's late in your
Sorry.
world. Yeah, sorry, I'm out west, so
It's not
this is
super late.
to
It's
me still
7:30.
early evening. But yeah, if you need to go, I will
Yeah.
happily sign off.
I really, really should. We should definitely do this again sometime. This is a lot of fun. I'm not gonna go get
I don't know if
Culver's,
I have
Troy.
another 25 bucks to pay for it though. I thought I was being sneaky. I was like, hey, like, they're not gonna know that I'm betting in Canadian money, but but yeah, no, it was awesome. When I saw it was up for grabs, I was like, if anything, like I said, I used to do some casts with Luke and had a fun time back in the day. So
Yeah.
getting a chance to be on with you guys was something I was happy to do for sure.
Yeah, it's always a good time. I'm planning on hopefully kind of making a bit of a comeback. Not immediately, because like I said, I'm retiring this player almost certainly tomorrow, and then I'm taking next season off. So I'm yeah, probably, yeah, definitely not gonna be next season. But then once I spin up the next player, we'll probably swing back into a maybe, hopefully, at least for a period, more
Right on.
regular
I'll
podcasting
tell you what,
schedule.
if it ends up being a Seattle New England final, then we'll have to have
Ooh,
one.
that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, just so me and Luke can fight it out.
Yeah. No Troy. Although maybe I don't. I actually don't particularly care in the J, if I'm honest.
I'm with you, right? I'm just
Like,
like, go ahead and draft it. I'm not
the
even gonna
only
pay
team-
attention. And
The only team I'm going to say anything to really is the same thing I said to Carolina last season. It was like, or last player is like, hey, I'm not going to tell you not to recruit me, but I'm kind of looking for maybe a new experience, because I like to, especially in the J, spread around a little bit. But if they want to draft me, I'm not going to say no. Absolutely not. Yeah, I don't, yeah, whatever. Thanks for hanging out in chat, everybody. Appreciate it. It always makes this much more enjoyable, especially when I'm not interested in the questions. Sorry, question askers. I know that's like kind of shitty of me, but I don't know.
I'm actually with you. I did not want to get into that discussion
Yeah, it's it's, I understand,
because I
and
knew
like,
where that discussion would go, and it's just like, no, I don't want to get into that.
I'm already complaining about league stuff enough. I don't need more.
Yeah, but like I said, what's the point of being positive about everything when it's the rage bait?
I
It's
want
the
to
viewers.
be. I love the SHL. I wanna love everything about it. I can't, but I want to. So
Oh no, it's same thing. I haven't been around for 12 years because I hate it.
yeah.
Obviously, I like a lot of things about it, and it's great. But
Yeah, thanks for doing the donating charity. I was whatever. It's too late now. I wanted to shout out the charity. We still got what do we got, like 6 more days, I think, for donations. So it's over, but it's not over, right? So if you're listening and you want to donate, please do. We love that. And thank you, Kez, for donating and coming on, being a guest.
yeah, no, obviously a very worthy cause. So good stuff.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right. Thanks everybody. We will catch you in probably a couple of months or something. I don't know. All right.